This is called wisely chosen ground. It said the Patriot Army had an advantage. Colonel Alexander Lillington chose the battleground that surrounds you. He knew that his opponents marching down the Negro Head Point Road to the coast would be vulnerable when they crossed near Moores Creek Bridge, which is over there. We're about to go see that. Shallow earthworks blocked the road. Inside of the Lillingtons, 150 Minutemen were reinforced by 850 militia under Colonel Richard Caswell. Just across the bridge, Caswell established a small encampment to serve as a decoy. So we are here. Moores Creek is here, and the battlefield here is there. And you can see, I guess those mounds were all dug by people for protection right here. And there's the cannon right there, which we're about to go see right there. So this is titled A Very Bad Swamp. It's kind of neat. That was written by General William Howe on April 25th of 1776. It says, as you walk across this modern boardwalk spanning Moores Creek, imagine marching an army through a tangled forest of swampy lowlands like these on a dark February night. Days of rain drenched troops and pushed creeks out of their banks, flooded roads and paths. Military campaigns often got bogged down in terrain, like their strength and morale got sapped. I think it's supposed to say zapped. After 2 weeks of the maneuvering, numerous desertions, and a 70-mile march, that's a long way in these swamps, through unfamiliar terrain, Loyalist leaders were determined to reach the coast with their troops and the train of 13 heavily laden wagons. Check this out. You've got poison ivy, briars, and yes, there are alligators here. So, let's take a walk on the bridge. Check out the creek. The water is very black. And we have had very, 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 very little rain. I'm surprised there's even any water in here. That's one side. There's the other side. I could not imagine walking through this soaked, tired, probably hungry, waiting for someone to shoot at you. And alligators, snakes, mosquitoes. It gets real bad here. Here's another good view. That creek goes all the way back there. And obviously this eventually will dump into the Atlantic Ocean over in Wilmington. It's pretty neat. This is long. You can kind of see the topography. It's really wet back there, and the creek kind of wraps around, so I couldn't imagine here again being one of these troops and getting through all that water and then it curling around and you having to tromp through another section of this. There's a huge cypress tree right there. That's absolutely enormous. Man, that's beautiful. Alright, let's go to the end of this thing and we'll check back with you. Oh, here's the end right here. So here again, this is the back side of the battlefield. It says Widows Moores Bridge. All bridges over deeper navigable streams shall be made at least 12 feet high with good saw plank cedar, clear sap at least 2 inches thick with firm and strong posts. Rails and barriers will secure and fasten. This is kind of the late 1300s. Start building the bridge. 1947, concrete. 1991, no bridge. And they started rebuilding it again in 1993. It says as you continue along the trail, you will rejoin the Negro Head Point Road and cross the bridge, tracing the footsteps of the Patriots and the Loyalists. So it says a trap is set. Patriots established a small camp here on the 26th of February, visited by Loyalist missionary James Hepburn. That evening, under a flag of truce, the Patriots declined the chance to lay down their arms. Hepburn reported back to the camp at Moores Creek. When the Loyalist troops arrived just before daybreak, campfires were still glowing, but the camp was empty. Patriot forces now lay hidden beyond the creek in the ambush. So, just beyond there is the other side of the creek that we just came from. With 3 cheers, they slowly made their way across Moores Creek Bridge, even though the deck timbers had been removed to impede the Loyalists' advance. So here we go. Yeah, the deck timbers removed in the picture. And they basically went this way towards the battlefield. So check it out. So we just crossed over the bridge on the other side of the creek. It says, "Here stood the bridge of the Revolutionary fame where 1,000 patriots under the Colonel Richard Caswell and Alexander Lillington were defeated by 1,600 loyalists led by Captain McLeod. Colonel James Moore commanded all the patriots who embodied to oppose the loyalists under General Donald MacDonald." Here we go. And here's the creek on this side. You can see the road kind of wraps around to the left and then opens into the battlefield. This is really cool. As you come around the corner, there's the cannon right in the middle. Right there. That's neat. Just waiting for them as they cross the bridge to enter into the battlefield. That way. It says, "A stunning defeat. By the time they reached this spot, McLeod's loyalists realized they were trapped, had no choice except to charge the earthworks, broadswords in hand. Then the morning mist exploded with the blast of hundreds of muskets and 2 cannons. Colonel McLeod lay dying near this spot, 30 paces from the Patriot earthworks. After a second blast, their advance was stopped cold. Outgunned, stunned, and leaderless, they retreated in disorder. This decisive battle had profound consequences for North Carolina, and for the American Revolution. For the Scots Highlanders, it would mark the last broadsword charge in their long and proud history." So there's the cannon, and coming across the road, and they had no choice. So you can see the mounds of dirt. There's another cannon right there. Yeah, and then I'll show you again. There's swamp on that side, the little road there, and the creek. The bridge is just beyond that, and then it just opened up into the battlefield here. I'll walk with you into the battlefield. Yeah, this would not be a fun welcome. These mounds of dirt are really neat. They're not that tall, but you can definitely see shooting old musket guns. They would be very helpful. So it just says a decisive victory. Patriots were wounded after the battle. They captured the Loyalists a large quantity of weapons and supplies. More than, it says 13,000 in today's money. The Battle of Moores Creek undermined royal hopes that armies of Loyalists at the south will join the British troops and quell the growing rebellion. The aftermath of Moores Creek said the Loyalists who survived the Battle of Moores Creek were unable to mount any other offense. Within 4 months, the British fleet had sailed on without Loyalist volunteers and was repulsed at Fort Moultrie on the coast of Charleston, South Carolina. The Patriot victory at Moores Creek tipped the scales in North Carolina on April 12, 1776. The North Carolina Provincial Congress adopted the Halifax Resolve, making North Carolina the first colony to instruct its delegate to the Second Continental Congress to vote for independence. That is really, really cool. That is cool. The first colony to instruct its delegates to the Second Continental Congress to vote for independence. We're back on the rubber path here. There's a couple more monuments we'll check out.